Hi students, good morning. Today's class is 10th standard social science, civics unit 2, the central government. Let me move to the video session. Civics unit 2, the central government. The central government is the supreme government in our country. Its headquarters is at New Delhi. Under Article 52 to 78 in Part 5 of Indian Constitution deals with the Union Executive. Our Constitution provides for a democratic form of government. The central government provides three organs. Each have its own specific function and administration. That is Union Executive, Legislature and Judiciary. The Union Executive consists of the President of India, the Vice President and the Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister and the Attorney General of India. The legislature is known as the Parliament. It consists of two houses, namely the Rajya Sabha, the upper house, and the Lok Sabha, the lower house. And the Union Judiciary consists of the Supreme Court of India. Our Constitution provided parliamentary system of government. The President is the nominal executive authority. The Chief Executive of the Indian Union is our President. He is designated as the first citizen of India. He is the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces. The President is also the constitutional head of the Union Executive. He is also responsible for constituting the judiciary. According to Article 53 of the Constitution, the executive power of the Union shall be vested in the President, which shall be exercised by him directly or through officers subordinate to him in accordance with Constitution. Qualification for the election as President. He should be a citizen of India. He must have completed the age of 35 years. He must not hold any office of profit under the union, state or local government. He should have the other qualification required to become a member of the Lok Sabha. His or her name should be proposed by at least 10 electors and seconded by another 10 electors of the Electoral College, which elects the President. The President is elected by an Electoral College in accordance with the system of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. The Electoral College consists of the elected members of both houses of Parliament and the elected members of the states and elected members of National Capital Territory of Delhi and Puducherry. Powers of the President. It is broadly classified under the following categories, that is executive power, legislative power, judiciary power, military power, diplomatic power and emergency power. Let me go through under each heading. Now I am going to explain about powers of our President. First is executive power. Article 77 requires that every executive action of the Union shall be taken in the name of the President. So he has to make many appointments to key officers to run the administration. Our President appoints the Prime Minister and the other members of the Council of Ministers, distributing portfolios to them on the advice of the Prime Minister. Portfolio means partition of the department. He is responsible for making a wide variety of appointments. This includes the appointment of governors of states, the Chief Justice and other judges of the Supreme Court, High Court and Attorney General, etc. And he appoints a commission to investigate into the condition of SC, STs and other backward classes. He is the Supreme Commander of the Defence Forces of India. In this capacity, the President can appoint Army, Navy and Air Force. Legislative power. The President is an integral part of the Union Parliament. He inaugurates the session of the Parliament by addressing it after the general election and also at the beginning of the first session each year. The President summons Parliament at least twice in a year. He may send messages to either house of the Parliament with respect to a bill pending in the House. All bills passed by the Parliament become law of acts only after getting assent of the President. Money bills cannot be introduced in the Parliament without his approval. According to the law, President terminates the session of both or any of the houses of Parliament. He even can dissolve the Lok Sabha before the expiry of the term of the House. Our President only nominates 12 persons who are eminent in literature, science, sports, art and social service to the Rajya Sabha. He can also nominate 2 persons belonging to Anglo-Indian community to the Lok Sabha, if in his opinion only that community will represent it in the House. Financial power. With the prior recommendation of the President, money bill can be reintroduced in the Parliament, and the annual budget of the central government is presented before the Lok Sabha by the Union Finance Minister only with the permission of the President. The Constitution of India places the Contingency Fund of India is at the disposal of the President. No demand for a grant can be made except on his recommendation. He can make advances out of the Contingency Fund of India to meet any unexpected expenditure, and he can recommend the distribution of revenues between the centre and the states. Judicial powers. Article 72 confers on the President power to grant pardons, reprieves, respites or remission of punishment in all cases where the punishment or sentence is by a court martial, in all cases where the punishment or sentence is for an offence against the union law, and in all cases where the sentence is a sentence of death. The President is not answerable to any court of law. He can be subjected to impeachment by the Parliament. Military power. The supreme command of the defence force of the Union shall be vested in the President, and the exercise thereof shall be regulated by law. The President is thus declared to be the supreme commander of the defence force of the country. In the exercise of this power, it is the President who can declare war against the country and make peace. Diplomatic powers. The President appoints Indian diplomats to other countries and receives foreign diplomats posted to India. All treaties and agreements with foreign states are entered into in the name of the President. Emergency powers taken by our President. Under Article 352, emergency on the ground of war, external aggression or armed rebellion, this is known as national emergency. Under Article 356, declaring that the government in a state cannot be run in accordance of the provision of the Constitution is a state emergency. And under Article 360, if our President satisfied that the financial stability or the credit of India or any part of India is threatened by any reason, it is called financial emergency. Removal of the President. The President shall hold office for a term of 5 years. The President may be, by writing under his hand, addressed to the Vice President to resign his office. Article 61. The impeachment action can be brought about in the form of resolution in either house of the Parliament. Privileges of the President. The President or the Governor of a state shall not be answerable to any court for the exercise and performance of the powers and duties of his office, or for any act done by him in the exercise and performance of those powers and duties. Vice President of India. Do you know who is he? He is our Vice President, Mr. Venkaiah Naidu. The Vice President occupies the second highest office in the country. He is accorded a rank next to the President in the official warrant of precedence. Qualification for the election as Vice President. He should be a citizen of India, and he must have completed the age of 35 years, and he must not hold any office of profit under the union, state or local government, and he should have the other qualification required to become a member of the Rajya Sabha. How is Vice President of India elected, and how can he be removed from his office? He elected by the members of an electoral college consisting of the member of both houses of Parliament, that is Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. The term of office of the Vice President is 5 years. The Vice President may be removed from his office by a resolution of the Council of States. A resolution for this purpose may be moved only after a notice of at least a minimum of 14 days has been given of such an intention. I hope you all know our Prime Minister of India, that is Mr. Narendra Modi. Prime Minister of India is the leader of the executive of the Government of India. There shall be a Council of Ministers with the Prime Minister as aid to aid and advise the President. The leader of the majority party in Lok Sabha is appointed by the President as the Prime Minister. The other ministers are appointed by the President on the advice of the Prime Minister. Council of Ministers. After the election, the President of India, on the advice of the Prime Minister, appoints the Council of Ministers. The Constitution of India restricts the number of the Council of Ministers, including the Prime Minister, to 15% of the total members of the Lok Sabha. Categories of the Minister. Cabinet Minister, Minister of State, Deputy Ministers. Under Cabinet Minister, important decisions of the government are taken by the Cabinet, such as Defence, Finance, External Affairs and Home. Under ministers of state, they are in charge of ministers or departments, but they do not participate in the meeting or the cabinet unless invited to do so. And last is deputy minister. They are the lowest ranked ministers in the cabinet. They assist either the ministers of cabinet or state in the performance of the duties entrusted to them. Parliament of India. The Parliament of India consists of three parts. They are the President, Rajya Sabha, that is the Council of States, and Lok Sabha, the House of the People. The Rajya Sabha is the upper house and the Lok Sabha is the lower house. It is termed as bicameral legislature. The Lok Sabha is the popular house of the Indian Parliament. Maximum number of members can be elected for Lok Sabha is 552. 530 from states, 20 from union territories, and 2 from Anglo-Indian community. The Council of State or Rajya Sabha consists of 250 members. Under that, 238 from states and union territory and 12 nominated by President. Lok Sabha is directly elected by the people under general elections, but Rajya Sabha is elected by the elected members of the state legislative assembly. This is also called indirect election. The Speaker. The Lok Sabha is presided over by the Speaker, who is elected by its members. The office of the Speaker occupies an essential position in our parliamentary democracy. The Speaker presides over a joint sitting of the two houses of Parliament. He has the power to decide whether a bill is money bill or an ordinary one. The decision of the Speaker on whether a bill is money bill is final. Attorney General of India. Our current Attorney General of India is Mr. K.K. Venugopal. The Constitution, Article 76, has provided for office for the Attorney General of India. He is the highest law officer in the country. He is appointed by the President. He must have been a judge of some high court for 5 years or an advocate of some high court for 10 years. In the opinion of the President, he holds office during the pleasure of the President. This means that he may be removed by the President at any time. He may also quit his office by submitting his resignation to the President. The Judiciary. Judiciary is the third organ of the government. It plays a vital role in protecting the rights and freedom of the citizen. It also plays an important role in analyzing and interpreting the provision of laws and the Constitution. Power and functions of the Supreme Court. Judicial function. The Supreme Court is the guardian of the Constitution. The following are the functions of the Supreme Court. First one is original jurisdiction, appellate jurisdiction, advisory jurisdiction, miscellaneous jurisdiction, judicial review. Original jurisdiction. The cases which are brought directly in the first instance to the Supreme Court come under original jurisdiction. They may be dispute between the Government of India and one or more states, and dispute between two or more states. The cases involving fundamental rights and the rights. Last lesson itself we have learned about the rights. Habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, certiorari and quo warranto. Appellate jurisdiction. The Supreme Court hears appeals against the decision of High Court in civil, criminal and constitutional cases with a certificate from the High Court that it is fit to appeal in the Supreme Court or not. Advisory jurisdiction. The Constitution confers on the President the power to refer to the Supreme Court any question of law or fact which in his opinion is of public importance. Miscellaneous jurisdiction. The law declared by Supreme Court is binding on all courts within the territory of India. The Supreme Court is authorized to make rules for regulating generally the practice and procedure of the court with the approval of the President. The Supreme Court has complete control over its own establishment. Finally, the last function is judicial review. The power of the judiciary is to declare a law as unconstitutional is known as judicial review. The Supreme Court enjoys this power. The Supreme Court of India has individual review power with regard to dispute between the centre and the states, and to interpret and clarify a provision of the Constitution about which there are some doubts and differences of opinion, protecting the rights, fundamental rights, and those laws passed by the legislatures which are not in accordance with the Constitution. Dear students, question bank is enclosed. Just go through it and take care of yourself.